Monday, October 14th, and it is Chiefs week for the San Francisco 49ers. Welcome. It's great to have you here on the Damon Bruce Show, here on Damon Bruce Plus, the Plus, brought to you by Ike Sandwiches. It is awesome that you are back here, and hopefully you had a really good weekend, like a stress-free weekend, because the Niners, they got it all out of the way on Thursday night. So maybe spent a little time with the family, maybe spent a little time at Fleet Week. Let me tell you, we got down there on Friday and watched practice, and my youngest, Ozzy, was all about Fleet Week, like pumping his fist really loud for Jack. Jack is like, no, this is a little too loud for me. We had a sound barrier broken right over us, and I nearly dropped my drink, and Jack nearly dropped his pants, and it was a lot for the boys, but a really good time. Hopefully you had a great weekend. Man, oh man, oh man. Good news coming out of 49ers camp, though, as we get ready for the Kansas City Chiefs, right? You're not going to win the game without Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason has an AC sprain in his left shoulder. He's day-to-day, but that's good news for the 49ers. That was the word on Mason on Friday, so he's a few more days past his day-to-day evaluation and will hopefully be shot up, cortisoned, and ready to go when the Kansas City Chiefs get here on Sunday afternoon. Safety Malik Mustafa avoids a high ankle sprain. That's good. Just a sprained ankle, which means maybe he misses a game, but not gonna guaranteed to be missed like the next 3 or 4 that usually comes with a high ankle sprain. So it feels like they dodged a little bit of a bullet there. Jordan Elliott might be back on this defensive line soon enough. Travarius Ward, day-to-day with a knee injury. Would love to see him back with the Niners before the Kansas City Chiefs come to town, because he's got, some institutional knowledge of how the Chiefs do things, and obviously the 49ers and Chiefs know a lot about each other. They have met in more than just 1 or 2 big games over the past few years, and Andy Reid has all the ownage any NFL coach could ever want. I mean, it is devastating how thoroughly the Chiefs and Steve Spagnuolo and Patrick Mahomes beat the 49ers, and that needs to change. The bounce, the vibes, the feel, the self-confidence. Again, self-confidence, key word is not confidence. Key word is self. The 49ers have lost a little bit of their self-confidence, I think, in this league, just because that's what happens when you keep running into a team that you can't get past. I'm not saying that they're a tail between the legs franchise or anything like that, but the bounce that the 49ers would get with a win over the Kansas City Chiefs, and then the bounce that would always come with the noise that is attached to the Dallas Cowboys. No matter who the Cowboys are, the noise that is attached to them is ridiculous. And they just got hammered by Detroit. They'll have a bye week before they meet the Niners, just like the Chiefs have a bye week before they meet the Niners. But this is a real opportunity to be about as loud a 2-0 over 2 games as football will let you be. A win over the Chiefs would be monstrous. Follow that up with a win over the Cowboys. Going into the Niners bye week, everyone will be regarding them as the team to beat in the league, and that'd be good news for all involved. It really would be. It is great to have you here. Thanks so much for stopping on by. Thanks for hitting like, and do that right now. It helps this show, this live stream, move throughout the algorithm on YouTube. So like and subscribe if you would, please. Again, we want to get to 25,000 before I get to I almost said Thanksgiving. Now I want this done before Halloween. I want 25,000 subscribers. We're trying to get there. Share the channel, encourage your friends. Check out this guy, because there's a whole lot of bullshit and bad information out there, and hopefully you don't think that this is the source of much of that. I know that a lot of you think Nick Wright, who's a pal of mine, is the source of an awful lot of that. He'll be joining me a little bit later on this week. We'll be dipping in with hopefully some guys in boots on the ground, Bob Fesco in Kansas City this week, to talk about this game and preview it and get you ready for it. I know that Matt Mayoko is somewhere in the ether, Tim Kawakami as well. So a lot of guests coming up over the next couple of weeks with 2 of the biggest games in the season on the schedule over the next couple of weeks. And let me tell you this, after these couple of weeks, we will be in our bye week, which means we are going to be gathering at the Dubliner for PluceMania V It continues. PluceMania 5, haven't picked whether it's going to be Saturday or Sunday. I need to coordinate that with some childcare and blah, blah, blah. And I also need to coordinate it with the Dubliner, which is the best place to get a Guinness on West Portal. Dubliner West Portal. Those are my boys right there. You go in and you tell Kenny and John that Damon sent you. And whenever it's time to get yourself a little something to eat, oh my gosh, have I got the guy for you. That is Ike right there. That beautiful bald head is producing more delicious sandwiches than any bald head that has ever produced a sandwich in the world. Nearly 100 locations, and I'm telling you, it is as good of a lunch as you're going to find. I want you to start thinking about Ike's in terms of picking up something to go home for dinner. I like a sandwich for dinner, especially a good, big, hearty sandwich that you get at Ike's. Also, right now, I want you to sign up for that Ike's Rewards program. That new Love Rewards program on his new app is paying off with a free sandwich the minute that you sign up. It's paying off with chances to win chips and sodas and all sorts of combos and things like that, and an opportunity to register to be a pair of folks who get to go to New Orleans for a big football game in the month of February at the Superdome, thanks to our good friend Ike, who is running a very cool contest right there. So you go ahead and get yourself to Ike's, support the channel, and again, cheers to all of you who have supported me so heartily since coming over here to YouTube. It's never been more fun, and I think we got a little bit of, it's a late sip of the day. This is a little bit more room temperature than I wanted. The coffee was piping hot during wake up. Now we're on our refill. Close enough. If you need an official sip of the day scored for today's show, you can score that one your sip o' the day. Gonna try a little something new this weekend. Just because it's a big game, I think instead of going live at the 2-minute warning, we're going to go live at kickoff. I think I'm going to do my first ever watch party. Now, the watch party is going to be you watching this on a second screen, hopefully, while we both watch the game together. It's not going to look a lot different than what you're looking at right now, but instead of coming on at the 2-minute warning, I'm thinking of going live, and we will all hang out and watch the Kansas City Chiefs game together. Let me know in the comments whether you think that's a good idea or not, but why not? Why not? It's something that we haven't done. So YouTube's about trying new and different things. I think we're going to do a watch party, maybe even come back for a Sunday night watch party with the Dallas Cowboys after the Chiefs week. But we're going to go ahead and experiment. Well, maybe you're into it. Maybe 2-minute warning is when you're going to show up after all. But we'll be in like hour number 3 or 4 by that point. So I just hope that you plan on hanging out with us. And Otis Bird right away, sounding good to him. Dropping an, oh, wow, cool. Chef A, yay, partied up. Indeed. How about this? Carl, thank you very much. Great idea. Carl, I'm not going to ask you to go ahead and put timestamps on the entire watch party. I understand you have things to do for an afternoon. Brandon Miller, yeah. We got Tiger Tanko 6. Please, no Nick Wright. He's way too biased. He won't even acknowledge the refs favor the Chiefs. Oh, he will. He will. He will on this show. You're going to get some truth out of Nick Wright because he knows that he can't sneak his bullshit past me as he does as easily as he sneaks it past America. Look, Nick's a buddy of mine, and he knows. He knows he can't sneak his nonsense past us. So watch how a little bit more complimentary he tends to be over here. I promise you that. Oh, how about that? Ain't no party like a Plus party. Big Mac, I hope you're doing well in Green Bay, man. We miss you out here. It would have been great to have you there. Let's see. The watch party. Got Herbal Heels is going to be there. What? Herbal Heels, I don't think I've ever seen your name in here before. I've never seen that avatar before. Welcome. Like, subscribe, hit notify. Not miss a thing. Big weekend coming up. Big weekend coming up, the watch party, and hopefully a guy that we're watching for the first time together is Ricky Pearsall. And look, what can be expected from Ricky Pearsall? The correct answer is probably don't expect much. But at the same time, like, what if Ricky Pearsall really does have a chance to change the way the operation operates? What if Ricky Pearsall is presenting red zone answers to finally start asking the question, how come you guys stall in the red zone so often? What if he really is a short zone target who can separate in tight space to present Brock a real target and a real window to throw into? What if he is an honest to God rookie impactful player right away? Oh my God, it would just make everything so much easier for the 49ers. Remember, Christian McCaffrey is promised to somewhere be on the horizon. Imagine if you added 2 legitimate red zone threats, because I'm going to tell you right now, if the 49ers were just a little bit more legitimate as an offense in the red zone, they'd be undefeated right now. This would be an undefeated 6-0 football team if they just had average red zone production. It's been below average. And it's been mind-numbingly hard to understand why this team stalls as often as it does in the red zone. It's a testament to how good McCaffrey is. It's also a testament to how hard, the league gets 10 yards and in. But the Niners make it a little bit harder than other teams make it look. They really do. So let's see what Ricky Pearsall does. Imagine if this guy opens up red zone scoring. The entire year on that alone changes. The entire year. Because there was no Niner game to concentrate on, maybe you spent most of your Sunday with red zone on. Just trying to take a little inventory of the league. Who's really good now that we're at the, all right, let's show us who you really are portion of the season. Again, first 4 weeks feel eminently disposable based on the first 4 weeks now translating into preseason. The Saints, through 2 weeks of football, looked like they had a world-beating offense. They went to Spencer Rattler and got blown out at home by Tampa Bay, who is a team to absolutely keep an eye on. But man, right now, if you're looking at the NFC specifically, you cannot help but notice that the NFC North has replaced the NFC West so far this year as the most competitive division in all football. The NFC North has 4 teams that are already at 4 wins or better. The Vikings, the Lions, the Bears, and the Packers are all good football teams. The Lions, again, just went to Dallas, humiliated the Cowboys, skinned them alive. But what a devastating loss they take. They might have hammered the Cowboys. I think that they lost the Super Bowl. Aiden Hutchinson is a broken leg. Air cast, gone for the year. He probably was if not the pole position leader, the number 1 stalking horse for Defensive Player of the Year right now. This is a conversation I think TJ Watt is in. I think it's a conversation that Fred Warner is going to find himself in, if not already. But Aiden Hutchinson was probably the guy, and he has been terrorizing NFL offensive linemen all year, and he's done. Done for the year. Detroit cannot be who they are, who they want to be, without a guy like Aiden Hutchinson playing. That is a devastating loss. It's probably, if we're really looking around the NFL, outside of Christian McCaffrey, who you haven't really lost this year, he just hasn't participated yet in this year. You can't lose something that you haven't had. This is the biggest loss via injury so far in football, without a doubt. Team of consequence, player of consequence, that is devastating for the Detroit Lions. So you look around the NFC, the 49ers. Look, I don't want to say another team's misfortune is fortunate for the 49ers, but the 49ers, I think, just became a better team in the NFC with that Aiden Hutchinson injury. That's huge. Meanwhile, in the AFC, you got the Ravens and the Texans looking like teams of consequence. Obviously, the Kansas City Chiefs ruled the roost until further notice. But I just don't see an awful lot of scary throughout the AFC. Now, maybe the Bills become it. Right now the Steelers are one of the best teams in the AFC, but I don't think that they're one of the best teams in the AFC. They got one of the best defenses, but that offense has figured it out enough to be where they are. But I don't know if I really fear them in any way, shape, or form. That's a nasty defense for sure. They're just a good outfit. The Steelers really are. Year in, year out. No matter what the prognostications are, or even really how they're playing, they're still good. Man, we're starting to see the NFL take its shape. We're starting to see it. Week 7 is here, and again, the biggest bounce that you could get off of beating an opponent is presenting itself to the 49ers. Here are the undefeated Chiefs. Do with it what you will. It's a huge opportunity. And then the can't figure it out Dallas Cowboys coming after that. Going into the bye week on a 3-game winning streak, I absolutely would recommend that, and so would 8 out of 10 doctors and dentists. You really want that. Cowboys are an absolute mess. It's Jerry Jones's creation. You know, how you can take the worst home loss of your ownership and come out and endorse, yeah, I feel really good about the team right now and feel really good about the coach. I mean, just Jerry it's got to be like an element of dementia, or just he's lying to himself, he's lying to his fans, he's lying to the football gods, that's for sure. Meanwhile, Andy Reid is nothing but the truth coming out of the bye week. This goes far beyond him being the coach of the Kansas City Chiefs. This is far beyond Patrick Mahomes being, the best Lamborghini sitting in the garage. This is Alex Smith. This is Eagles teams. Andy Reid, in the regular season, when he's coming off a bye week and the other team is not, he is 28-3. 28-3 when he's got the bye and the other team doesn't. It's a little bit of a mini bye, I guess, for the Niners because they played on Thursday. They had a few more rest days built in. But that is a devastating winning percentage. 28-3? It's incredible. And the other thing that Andy Reid does that convincingly is just beat the 49ers every single time he sees them. Andy Reid doesn't lose to Kyle Shanahan. Steve Spagnuolo doesn't lose to Kyle Shanahan. Patrick Mahomes doesn't lose to Kyle Shanahan. The only math that Kyle's really got on his side is the concept of, well, you must be due. Football is enough of a sport to where, at some point you're going to beat the other team. It's hard to win this many games in a row against anybody. Right now, Kyle is 0-4 against Andy Reid. It's his worst record against any coach in the league. The first loss came back in 2000, in 2020? What, when the first loss was at Arrowhead when Jimmy tore his ACL? That was before then. The second loss was the first Super Bowl. The third loss was in 2022 when the Chiefs beat the 49ers. Brock appeared in that game. He'd soon take over. Niners would go on a winning streak that would run all the way to the NFC title game, and then Hassan Reddick turned Brock's elbow into hamburger, and that's all she wrote for that year. The fourth loss was just the second Super Bowl, overtime. Conceptually, I guess you could argue, well, then the Niners are getting closer. At least you got to go to overtime and kind of blow who should be getting the coin toss or the kickoff in order for the Chiefs to win. But for whatever reason, the Chiefs always pull out just enough to beat the 49ers. Every single time. They're just a little bit better, or they're a lot a bit better. Kyle is due. That's all you could really talk about. Kyle is due. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens this time around. Again, I cannot tell you that the Niners are going to win this game. I got to see it with my own two eyes. I am doubting them. This is what happens, I guess, when you lose, the swagger, the strut, the vibe. The Niners need to beat the Chiefs for me to believe it can actually happen. I haven't seen it yet. Regular season, postseason, big game, not big game. These two teams are so familiar with each other. Spagnuolo is so familiar with Kyle. Andy Reid is so familiar with Kyle. And vice versa. Kyle should be pretty familiar with them too, but it just does not get him into the win column. Just a gargantuan game. Skills saying, Damon, it's hard when you're playing 18 on 11. Is there officiating bias towards the Chiefs? It feels like it would be hard to argue no. But I don't think it is, built into the NFL bylaws that the Chiefs get 3 more calls per game than the other team gets. There's going to be a day when that pendulum swings a little, right? Let's see how many times Nick Bosa gets a holding call actually pulled in this game. Clearly has not happened in Super Bowls. This is legit. Damon, watch party concern, broadcast being mid-synced. You're going to have to do a little tinkering, right? You're going to have to pause it, let me catch up, try to sync it yourself. There's going to be a little manipulation needing to be done on your end because whatever I'm saying now, you're probably listening to about 30 seconds after I see it. Once it goes, through the internet to YouTube and gets pushed to you, I'm about 30 seconds behind you in real time anyways. We're all 30 seconds behind the broadcast. My direct TV feed might not be the same as your cable feed or wherever you're watching the game. It's going to take a teensy bit of manipulation, but in a 4-hour window, maybe we can all figure it out. I'll give you a few timestamps to count down to. I'll give you a few timestamps to hopefully help you sync it up. But we're going to try it. We're going to give it it ain't going to be perfect, but hopefully it'll be good. By the way, thank you very much. True Blue saying Nick is almost tolerable with Damon. I would agree. He is. He's much more reasonable, right? Look at Indiana Jim just saying, hey, don't even watch for Nick. Watch it for Damon. Watch all videos for Damon. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Bazzi Mian, you're right. He's a little bit of a Chiefs homer. He's a little bit of a Brock hater. And for some reason, both things correlate strongly with each other. There is a correlation there, isn't there? What you don't like is the fact that the guy no one saw coming not only is really damn good, he's almost as good as the guy that, let's be honest, no one saw Patrick Mahomes being this, or he would have been the number 1 overall pick. But it's amazing how someone who can outproduce Mahomes in several categories still gets relegated. No, he's not even in the same league. No, he is. He is. And at the same time, he's not even in the same league, right? When you got Super Bowls, when you got rings, and the other guy don't, someone officially outranks you. It would be stupid to make the argument that Brock Purdy is better than Patrick Mahomes, because he's not. But to say that Brock Purdy doesn't belong in the conversation of league's best quarterbacks, which is a point that Nick tries to drive home way too often, is, again, this is why we're going to talk to him. And if Brock and the Niners do win this game, maybe that'll change the tune a little bit. The one thing I can guarantee you this is that there's no amount of words that can fall out of any host's mouth that will ever affect an actual game. It might affect some perception among fans, but fans, look, there's one thing that I've realized since coming over to YouTube is fans live in the silos of information that they're comfortable in. I guess this is an even bigger issue than it is in sports. This is politics. This is the world that we now live in. You can insulate yourself in a silo where everything that you believe true is, put forward, and nothing that would go against your belief system ever even enters the conversation. This is why we're a dumber country this week than we were last week, because people got to live another full week in their silos of bullshit that makes them comfortable. The information you receive shouldn't just be nurturing to your beliefs. It should challenge them. And not a lot of people get challenged by information because they see information they don't like. They just go, oh, well, that guy's a hater. And so, boo, I'm going to eliminate that. Now, sometimes you're right, but often you're not. And I'm going to tell you that, for someone who has watched Nick talk about Brock, the evolution is starting. Again, it's becoming harder and harder and harder to maintain your credibility if you're putting it on. I really don't think Brock is very good at this. because at some point you have to admit, well, my opinion really doesn't matter. And based on, statistics and winning is now wrong. Some people, though, just dig in. They double down on being wrong over and over and over again. Go watch that Bears game for yesterday. They scored on like every red zone trip. Yeah, Caleb, I don't know if it's, starting to figure it out or if that's the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't know yet. But yeah, it's amazing how much happier everyone is when you're scoring red zone touchdowns. Bosa needs to knock down Mahoney a few times next game to win. Yeah. I'm guessing you mean Mahomes. Or maybe Mahoney from Police Academy. I don't know. Damon, if Pearsall can give us 2023 Juwan Jennings production, I'll be happy. That means 18 catches, right? What do you have in 2008? I want more than that. Now, he might not even get 18 targets because Kyle is weird when it comes to breaking in rookies, but this guy is not your average break-in, right? Like it's been a weird start to Ricky Pearsall's career. Maybe that weirdness benefits him in a way. Maybe the delay, the half a season red shirt that he has sort of taken here will change the way that Kyle sees him, or maybe the way that the Niners are functioning will change the way that Kyle sees him and views him. I don't know. I don't know what Ricky Pearsall is going to be. You don't know what Ricky Pearsall is going to be. To make any conclusion before he's even run a play is ridiculous. Maybe he's Jerry Rice. And if he is, by the way, the things get much easier. Sean, can't watch shit with Nick Wright. Okay, I'm not telling you that you got to watch anything. He might say things you don't like, but he's pretty good at saying those things. Like he obviously, for a guy you don't watch, still has your full attention, which means he gets the $1 million check to be on TV. And I do respect that. Dustin, down for a little watch party. Thank you, Dustin. I hope you are there. Otis Bird, you're right. Huge blow for the Lions. I feel bad for Hutchinson yesterday. I mean, you couldn't help it. And to watch, you don't want to watch that injury. Broken legs are always nasty. When you see legs bending in directions they shouldn't, I am out of there fast. I have no element of... I hate broken bones. I hate broken bones. If I know that there's a broken bone coming up in a video, I'm going to turn away from it. I saw the Hutchinson thing, I'll watch it once just to see how bad is it. And I decided I'm not going to be watching that one twice. You snap multiple bones. It ain't good. Yeah, Sean does his leg wrapped around his teammate's leg like Gumby. Yeah. Ugh. Just hitting your shin on a trailer hitch hurts like a bitch. Now imagine Hutchinson's break. Oh, yeah, it's brutal, man. Otis wants everyone to know, yeah, they lost like that in Dallas on Jerry's birthday. Worst home loss of Jerry's ownership tenure comes on his birthday. Happy birthday, dickhead. You ordered that one. Like, you don't like the cake you got? Well, you're the one who ordered it. David is saying, look, there ought to be a law out there about unused removable trailer hitches in public parking lots. You got to mind your own surroundings, right? Like you can't blame the trailer hitches in the world that you keep tripping over when you're the guy who's the only one in the group who's tripping over all these trailer hitches, right? I mean, like I tell this to Jack all the time. Jack, be aware of what's around you. You fall over everything. It's amazing. I love my 5-year-old is the clumsiest little kid I've ever seen. And he's not like an uncoordinated kid. He just trips over everything. Just look around you, man. Open your eyes. Damon, does this include off week for Super Bowls? No, the number that I shared with you. Look, there are records attached to Andy Reid having a week to prepare that are even more impressive than what I've shared with you. Andy Reid with a week to prepare in a bye week, while the other team is not coming off of a bye week in the regular season, is 28-3 off of a bye. That's regular season only. He's got the bye, opponent doesn't. And that's the scenario that this game is being played under. Sure, the Niners got a few extra days of rest, but that ain't a bye week. You playing on Thursday night is not a bye week. So the 28-3 record applies to the situation that this game will be contested under on Sunday. So I hope we clear that up for you, rockin' New Era. There are a lot of different Andy Reid numbers out there. These are regular season numbers that I'm sharing with you. We got Chef A saying, I'm not watching that Hutchinson injury. I've been watching Killing Eve. I'm good on Brutal for right now. I've not watched any Killing Eve. I don't know what that is. I don't even really know what it is. Douglas is saying that L is due. For real, for real. Douglas, I mean, that's it. The best argument to be made right now for the Chiefs to lose to the 49ers is they're due. It's not even, it's a home game or the Niners are better or anything like that. No, it's just they're due. But Andy Reid has a way of getting into the we're due equation with a whole lot of Andy Reid that says, I don't lose off of bye weeks. Lots going on in the chat. Again, love that you're in the chat. Thank you very, very much. Damon, this is from Michael Diaz. He said, Mahomes is the only quarterback with 17-plus interceptions reversed by penalties. The most any quarterback since 2017, the year that he was drafted. He's the new Brady. The NFL made up rules to help Tom Brady. I mean, the NFL also suspended Tom Brady and shit, too. I mean, like, look, I'm not the conspiracy theorist some of you are. I'm really not. The only way the NFL could turn itself into we're in business danger is if it really were, you know, like, oh, we can prove to you now that this is the WWE and some of these games are predetermined. I think that there are moments in games where borderline calls go against the team that is leading the game to keep it maybe a little tight. I don't know. It feels like those are never applied to Kansas City, though. Kansas City does have and has curried favor with NFL officiating to the point where holding that is routinely called against them for whatever reason never gets called against Nick Bosa. And Nick Bosa truly is the most held player in football, and it doesn't seem to draw the amount of flags it should. It is weird. D. Bruce, watch party's going to be fun. What will not be fun is if our defense loses this game for us again. Yeah, Jude, man. You know, this is a good 49ers defense. I don't know if you need to be a great defense to slow down the Chiefs offensively. The Chiefs struggle in the red zone too. Here's how the Niners win the game. Just play the defense that you normally play. Just give a decent defensive effort. Actually accomplish the mission in the red zone and don't trip all over your dick when you're playing special teams, which I have no faith in the Niners doing that. I think the Niners are just conceding week in, week out, an easy way to beat them to the other opponent. If I am playing the 49ers, I am looking to take advantage of them on special teams in every single game I play. I'm thinking about onside kicks. I'm thinking about fake punts. I'm thinking about returns. I'm thinking about razzle dazzle. I have no respect for the 49ers as a special teams unit whatsoever. And why would any team in the NFL, given that the only through line of this season is a special teams mistake? Over and over and over and over and over again, it's a special teams mistake. So I cannot place my faith in a team that feels like it is either incapable or choosing not to address their biggest glaring weakness. Like, that's why I have doubt about the Niners, not just against the Chiefs, but maybe overall in this year. Like, Devondre Campbell screams, get this guy off the field, but they don't. I mean, I was talking about this with Larry on Wake Up. You know, why the 49ers have some sacred cows who do not come off the field in the name of playing the younger, probably going to give you a better performance kid. I don't get it. I really don't get it. You know, Brian Schneider, his special teams reputation that got him the job is nowhere to be found on the job. So why is he still in the job? I don't get it. We all know what the mission is. It's pretty damn clear what the mission is. It's time to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Should you choose to accept that mission, don't fuck up on special teams, and you better start scoring in the red zone. And whether Ricky Pearsall helps you, I don't get Ricky Tiki-Tavi. I don't care. I don't give a shit. Ricky Henderson, call somebody, but be better in the red zone. Again, if the Niners were just league average in the red zone, they'd be undefeated. So there is that. Chef A says, is there anything we can do to beat the Kansas City Chiefs? I mean, legally, yes, to get in there and make as much noise on third down as humanly possible. You know, home field advantage. That's what you can do. But no, there's no amount of rooting hard. Larry, there are echo chambers on the internet? Yeah. I don't think I'm the first one to put that concept forward. But here we are. Joe G, he's calling conspiracy all the way from Japan. He's saying refs on the Chiefs' payroll. So Jillian got the boys out of the house. It's Columbus Day, right? So boys have today off from school. We're going to get the kids back out of the house here in a second. She's up there doing the work of a mom, keeping these boys calm. But I just heard them all come back in, which means we're probably going to get invaded here, which means it's time for us to check out Today in History. And we'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll do a little Club Plus with you. We are going to be having, I believe, Nick Wright on Wednesday. That video will be out then. We're going to be going live again with Larry for a wake up on Wednesday and Friday this week. It's Chiefs week. Big couple of weeks for the Niners coming up. There is no doubting it whatsoever. Shannon saying, let's face it, Damon, Nick is both biased and he's just poking the bear for clickbait. Yeah, there's a little bit there. He's not an idiot, but he's willing to play one on TV for clicks, and that translates to big dollars on his paycheck. Yeah, I mean, the man's a millionaire. I think that's what I think frustrates a lot of people about Nick, because they look at him and they realize this is a smart guy. This is a smart guy who can present a smart argument. Why is he just arguing against the guy I'm rooting for all the time? I hear you. Kyle saying, Aiden's leg looked like a slap bracelet. It did. It bent it. Yeah, Irwin invoking the Theismann. It was bad, man. Look, seriously, look around you. That trailer hitch is stationary. Shannon, yeah, that's good advice. Look out for trailer hitches. They should be easy to avoid. Damon, so far, Whitner and Gronk have come out on TV saying how the Chiefs get favored. I feel like the Chiefs dynasty is tainted like the Patriots. Funny Gronk calling out officiating about help. There is nothing tainted about the Chiefs dynasty. You know, good teams get calls. That's the way it is. We are our reputations. Good teams get benefits of the doubt. They really do. Bad teams don't. It's why the Raiders are the biggest rolling, traveling of penalty-grabbing slapdicks the football's ever seen. Because, we know that even if this is done right, they're going to fuck it up. So no one's looking for anything other than them screwing it up. Bad teams are penalized because they play poorly and they have bad reputations. What's amazing is it doesn't feel like the 49ers' good reputation gets them the benefit of the doubt very often. But I'm not one of those let's complain about officiating guys. I never have been. I really don't care about that. Good teams take care of themselves. Again, lots of great stuff, lots of great comments. You're all great human beings. Get yourself a great sandwich at Ike's. Do it this afternoon. Don't wait any longer. Download that rewards app and start eating your way towards free sandwiches. You get a free sandwich when you download that rewards app for the first time, and it gives you a chance to enter a contest to win a trip for two to New Orleans to a game that some people would say is super. It will be played in the Super Dome. I suggest you smoke a bowl, and you can do the math on all of that. We're all going to be very, very safe at the Dubliner soon. I can't wait to see you there, Smiley Dan, keeping everybody safe. We will give you this week the official date of the coming PluceMania, and I hope so many of you can join us there. I really, really do. I'll tell you, when you're making any wagers, you go ahead and check out BetUS. Start playing today. Use promo code YouTube150 to save 150%, have a 150% deposit match on your first deposit up to $2,000, 125% up to your next $2,000 on your next two deposits. But playing with BetUS is something that you should be doing right now. If you are not, thanks to them for their sponsorship as well. And the only thing left to do today is give you your history lesson. Today in history. Here we go. Born today in 1939, Ralph Lauren. He's 85 years old now. He launched the Ralph Lauren Corporation in 1967 with ties. He wanted to design neckties. He moved on. By 1972, he introduced a cotton shirt that is like a triple button cotton shirt with a little collar on it. And the brand name was Polo. And that brand is so associated with that shirt that shirt is called a polo shirt, whether it's made by Ralph Lauren or not. It's ubiquitous. It's like Q-tip. Whether or not that's a cotton swab. Q-tip is a brand, but they're now all called Q-tips. It's like Xerox. There's a lot of companies out here making copiers. But you say, can you go Xerox something for me? I mean, people even say, go Google it, even when they're talking about like no one uses Bing, right? No, is Bing still a thing? Is anyone using Bing? Probably not. Anyways, I got a lot of Polo shit upstairs. They make good quality things that don't shrink. Like you buy a Polo shirt, and you'll have it for years, unless you put a hole in it. Like, they don't shrink. They wear well. They take a beating. I'm a Ralph Lauren fan right up until he shows us, like, whatever Team USA is wearing for any Olympics. And then it's like, come on. We can do better than that. I'm going to take you as far back as I've ever taken you for this day in history segment. We're going all the way back to 1066. Battle of Hastings fought on this day in 1066. Battle of Hastings. Do they even teach that in high school anymore? Probably not. This is when King Harold II of England got defeated by the Duke of Normandy. And we saw the Normans come in as the rulers of England for a little while. They would then try to become the rulers of England when a guy named Adolf Hitler would assume power again. But there you go. So Battle of Hastings. If you're into battle history, you got a big one today in 1066. Maybe that's a little too far back for you, and you're like, Damon, this is a sports show, so let's get back to it. Okay, fair enough. Today in 1908, which was a date that was emblazoned into the mind of every Cub fan that you ever knew in your life until 2016, pardon me, today in 1908, the Chicago Cubs beat the Detroit Tigers for what was their last World Series win, right up till Game 7 of the 2016 World Series. Isn't it amazing how much less baseball means to us now than it did before? It really is. I cannot believe, like I've been watching some Dodgers who just look, if the Dodgers are all done giving up runs this year, they're going to be really hard to beat. The Dodgers don't give up runs anymore. I think 3 consecutive postseason shutouts now. It's happened twice in the history of Major League Baseball before the Dodgers were doing this. I mean, they are just cooking. Everything else about baseball's postseason has been like a little bit of a yawn. Like I know, big grand slam in Cleveland, and I'll watch that highlight, and that's great. But man, I have never cared about baseball's postseason less than this year. Is there some bias that the Cubs aren't in it? Yeah, that would have pulled me in as a guy who grew up a Cub fan. Is there bias that there's no, the Giants are nowhere close this year? And I've been covering the Giants for the better part of 20 years. Yeah, if they had been in it, I would have been more attracted to it for sure. But I really think that I'm just disgusted with the sport on a level that this guy's responsible for. John Fisher hasn't just ruined the A's. He's ruined my relationship with baseball. He truly has. I hate that guy. Absolutely hate that guy. And it's affecting me paying attention to the postseason. I decidedly like baseball less than I used to, and I can prove it by just the amount of innings I watch in the postseason that have nothing to do with teams that I cover or teams that I root for. I used to watch everything. Like, I don't care if it's a postseason baseball game, I'd be watching it. Now I'm like, anything else on? It's just good. Nice job, baseball. I'm the guy who said that the choice between getting it right or getting it wrong, you always get it wrong, and they do again. I talked about how Jack got all spooked out when a Blue Angel broke the sound barrier right over us. Well, happy anniversary to Chuck Yeager, because today in 1947, this is one of the best scenes in The Right Stuff, too. Today in 1947, American test pilot Chuck Yeager became the first person to ever break the sound barrier. So, big day in aeronautic science, if you will. Today in 1964, Martin Luther King Jr. was awarded a Nobel Peace Prize for his work in civil rights. And I don't think there's been any complaining about that since he did that. Nobel Peace Prize, these are big things. Today's the day he won it. And then, unfortunately, whatever progress we had made as a society was completely rendered all the way back to square one because of the last thing I'm going to tell you about. Today in history, in 2007, the dumbing down, the corrosion of American society and culture absolutely took a negative step forward when the reality TV series Keeping Up with the Kardashians premiered. It's one of the worst moments in American pop culture history. And I understand that there's a level of business acumen that the Kardashians absolutely get to flex. I understand that there's a level of popularity where I heard that, if all Kardashians at once send out a social media message, they would reach 1/5 of the globe's population. I'm not denying their place in the culture. I'm bemoaning the fact that they've ever had a place in it. All the Kardashians did was turn American women into dumber people who now talk like this, and the Kardashian accent is real, and there's like this nasally uptick, and they're just vapid, and it's just consumerism, and there's no substance, and they are awful. And today, America officially became a dumber place when Keeping Up with these bitches debuted in 2007. Is that show even on anymore? I can honestly say I've never watched a millisecond of it, but for like social media moments and highlights of it. How are you not repulsed by every ounce of that? I don't. Ugh. Anyway, that's it, boys and girls. There is your show this afternoon. Your Today in History. Thank you so much for being here. get yourself a sandwich from Mike's, get to the Dubliner, check out BetUS. Thank you for being here. Hit like, hit subscribe. We will have a watch party when the Kansas City Chiefs officially get to town on Sunday. We're going to have some interesting stuff for you over the next 2 weeks, so hit notify and hopefully not miss a thing that we're doing over here on the Plus. Thank you very, very much for all your support, your love, and all that good stuff. The only thing I can tell you is thank you and cheers, and please do remember that sports don't build character, they reveal it. And like that, he's gone.